What's going on, YouTube? Welcome to the Let's Build U.S.S. Voyager Season 1, Episode 20. I'm Zero Elite, and I just want to thank you very much for tuning in today's episode. If you haven't, please don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button and helping me in supporting the channel. I can't thank you enough for that. Today we've got just over 17 minutes. We're going to be picking up right where we left off. We're going to really start working on blending in the lower hull. So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump right into it because we've got a lot of work to do today. So first thing we're going to do is going on the side here, we're going to get rid of this row of half slabs, going right up to that last cut line that we had added in the last episode for the wireframe. So we're just taking off that extra row because the half slabs now, they're going to go with this cut line that we added in the last episode. Because we're using the template of our saucer to dictate how the template is going to go. Now, by the time this episode's done, you're probably going to look at it and be like, well, that area doesn't necessarily look a ton like Voyager, but we have to get this area set up before we can basically do our final attempt at the neck and blend everything in. Because basically what I do to get around the issue that I was having of blending in the lower hull with the backbone of the neck and the saucer was that I focused on blending in the wireframe for the lower hull and the saucer, and once I had that set up, then I come back and I go in and I redo the neck, because at that point it basically became much easier to determine what I needed to do with the neck, if that makes sense. And now at this point, we're just following our pattern. So when we're going off the top row of our cut line here, we're going to be going with half slabs with the cut. This is where hopefully you guys will be able to see what I'm doing to blend it all in together, because I'm just using the template from the saucer and I'm bringing that down now into the top section of the lower hull. And I'm going to be honest, like after this is all said and done, I would probably give this area like an 8 out of 10 maybe. It doesn't come out perfectly, but you know, considering it's my first time building an Intrepid class, it doesn't look too bad. It doesn't look terrible. I can honestly live with it. It could have come out a little bit better. If I had gone back and rebuilt the Intrepid class, there's probably some things I would have done a little bit differently, but you know, it kind of is what it is. That's why, like I said, when you're building ships for the first time, sometimes there's going to be that trial and error period where maybe something's not coming out exactly how you want it to. And this is why I just kind of take my time with it, and I'm willing to try out new things, because I find that when you're willing to try out new things, a lot of times you can just kind of stumble upon greatness and where you need to land if you're willing to experiment. And that's just kind of what happened with some of these areas on Voyager. But you know, this is still, it's been a really fun and challenging build. I've definitely really enjoyed working on Voyager. I just didn't really anticipate the amount of work that was going to go into it, I guess. But that's okay. We'll get through it one episode at a time. I got to fix my pattern here. There we go. Now we're looking pretty good. And see, basically what we would do now is the block of quartz. Now we just go with our cut line, going right behind the half slabs. What I'm basically hoping to accomplish with this is that after it's all said and done, the transition points, I'm hoping that it'll look a lot more seamless, and it'll look natural, like how it should look. I know you saw I probably just Notice I just got rid of part of the outline for the backbone. Like I said, don't worry about it. We are going to come back to that. Right now our main focus is just getting our blending point taken care of for the lower hull. Because once we have that in place and we've got this blended in with the saucer, it's going to make it a lot easier to build out our neck. Because we'll already have our patterns in place, we'll have the hull built out, and we'll have an idea of what we have to work with. And basically what we'll have to do at that point is just compare and go back to our reference material, looking at the backbone and the neck, looking at the lower section of the lower hull, and seeing how that matches up and what we need to do to get it to match up. We're not looking too bad though. That red line that's there, don't worry about that. We'll be coming back to that. And now we're just going to continue on with our pattern on the top, going with the light gray concrete with our cut line. Alright, now we're going to do the same thing on the left side. We got to bring this going all the way back. Alright. Now we're looking pretty good. Now we need to do a block of quartz going behind it. And then I believe once we're done with that, we're going to come back and we're going to do a row of half slabs on top of that. Alright, we got a couple more rows to do. We're looking pretty good right now. Alright, so now we're going to go to the half slabs and just continue on the pattern. And look, here's the deal. You don't always have to follow these patterns. This is just what I do. I don't know. Like, I've just found that it's super, super helpful when you try to stick to building with a pattern, because like I said, 9 times out of 10, it guides you in the direction that you need to go into. Which is really helpful, especially when you're working on a ship like Voyager, for example, where it could be, where it could feel a little bit complicated to get it all built out. Alright, now we're just continuing on. Now we're going back to the white concrete. Now, believe it or not, like once we're done with the neck and stuff, the very middle of this, you guys are not going to see it when the ship is done. So that's why I said don't worry about how it looks at the end of the video, because the very middle of it doesn't matter anyway. We just have to go through this steps for the blending process so that the sides look right, really. And in order to do that, I just kind of built it all out, even though we're going to be covering up the very middle of it. Alright, now we're going to take away a couple more rows of our old template for the backbone. Okay. That's looking pretty good. Hopefully you can start to envision how this is going to look. But that doesn't look terrible when we just focus on the blending of the lower hull to the saucer. That doesn't look terrible. Sure, it angles when we get towards the center of it, but again, don't worry about that because, like I said, once we add in our backbone, you're not going to see any of that. So now we're going to come back with another row of half slabs, because on this particular layer there's 2 rows of half slabs. And then we're going to come back with the full block of quartz. Yeah, it's not looking too bad. Now we're going to keep going up because my main focus is the saucer and the lower hull. We'll worry about the gap that's directly underneath it later on. Now we need to get rid of a couple more rows of our old backbone. You can see I messed up right there. I had to fix that. So I say it's always important to go back and double check your work, because even when you're paying attention you could easily make a mistake. But look, here's the deal. Even if you make a minor mistake, it's not the end of the world. Everybody's human. People make mistakes. Stuff like this happens. But this is why I have the rules in place that I follow anyway, to try to help me to avoid that from happening, because ultimately at one point or another a mistake is going to happen. And you may not even catch it, and it is what it is. You know what I mean? So when those mistakes happen, don't beat yourself up, or don't get mad at me if I don't catch that mistake, because I've only got so much time in every episode that I can go through this stuff. And I'll be honest, even me, I'm not perfect. There might be a minor mistake that I might even overlook and might not even notice. It happens. You know what I mean? But I don't know, especially like after doing the Enterprise, the rebuild on the Enterprise D, these builds don't have to be 110% perfect. So anybody that's putting that type of standard on themselves, I don't understand why you guys would do that, you know? Just try to have fun with this build. That's my main focus with this. And why I do these builds is just really because I enjoy the challenge out of it. And then also, it's very therapeutic and relaxing because it helps to take your mind off just anything that's going on, because all your brain power at that point is just focused on the build at hand. So, you know, have a little bit of fun with this. Don't take it too seriously. That's not what this series is all about. So if you're coming at it in that angle, you're defeating the whole purpose of what we're trying to accomplish here. You know what I mean? But everybody's different, to each his own. These are just kind of this is just kind of the outlook that I have on Minecraft, and I think why, you know, this game appeals to me even after all these years of building all these builds that I've done, and why I don't get bored with it. I don't know. I just I'll probably be playing Minecraft forever. I don't foresee myself ever not playing this game. Because it's just, I don't know, it's so much fun trying to figure some of these builds out sometimes. But man, that's looking pretty good. We've got some blending concerns here, and you can see what I'm doing is I'm taking off the old lip. I'm just going row to row, and I'm basically applying that to the new wireframe that we added between this episode and the last one. Because I'm fixing the pattern. Because you see, I'm bringing it back up to where it meets the saucer and the lower hull, and then we transition. So basically what we're going to do now is we're going to delete this whole row of half slabs, and we're going to do that right up until it meets the saucer, and then we're going to transition it over to this middle point here. Okay, so now that we did that, now we can just basically move it over. Alright, we're looking pretty good. We got a couple more rows to do. But yeah, you know, what we're doing in today's episode, it's not rocket science. We're just following a step-by-step process that's very, very easy to follow. And if you're finding yourself following any mistakes, you're not following the process. You need to go back, check your work, go over what I said, and then go back and do it again. So I find 9 times out of 10 when people are having problems with stuff like this, 9 times out of 10 it's because they either had me on mute and weren't listening to what I was going over, or they just skipped over a part and just completely missed it. But anyway, we've gotten a decent amount of work done today. I'm pretty happy with how this is shaping up. Like I said, this whole middle part here, you're not going to see it. What I'm basically focusing on is this side part right here and how this is going to look. And as we go down and add more layers, it's going to take more layers away from the side here and give us that nice progression on the sides. And then the middle point will eventually be covered up with our new backbone. But anyway, I think that's going to wrap it up for me today. We've got a couple of things coming up on the channel in the future. If you want to see Voyager Season 2, you guys need to let me know in the comments section. I've also got a poll going on under the Communities tab on YouTube where you can vote on that right now. We've also got Excelsior 2 class that's going to be coming up immediately following Voyager, as well as Enterprise A 2.0. Once we hit 1,000 subscribers, I'll be doing a Let's Build on that. We'll build that whole thing out from scratch. And then we've also got the Enterprise D Season 2 that's going to be coming up. Really looking forward to that. Anyway, I think that's going to do it for me today. I just want to thank you again for tuning in today's episode, and I hope everybody has a happy and safe week. And of course, what did you make in Minecraft today? Let me know in the comments section.